خاتم النبيين أبي القاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين ذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما آتاكم الرسول فخذوه وما نهاكم عنه فانتهوا واتقوا الله إن الله شديد العقاب. صدق الله العلي العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Tonight is the last Majlis in this series of 6 Majalis commemorating Ayyam Fatimiyya, paying tribute to Mother Hussein on this tragedy, which of course was not easy for any of the family members, especially no one had seen the impact, the way it impacted Amir al-Mu'mineen, the way it affected Amir al-Mu'mineen, and the relationship it conveys the fact that how Amir al-Mu'mineen felt the pain of Zahra departing this world. Usually when a person departs, the family members get busy in tajheez and takfeen and the umur and the last rituals of that individual. While you are going through a very difficult time, but nonetheless someone has to take care of all of these rituals. And Amir al-Mu'mineen was the one, since the children were very young, taking care of all the affairs, the wajibat after. And you heard in the Marsiyah as well, and we've been repeating, and you've heard it every year in the Masayid, that this was also the wasiyat of Janab Fatima Zahra to Amir al-Mu'mineen, that, O Ali, after me, after I leave this world, you'll marry Umama as she had requested because my children are young. O Ali, I want you to be the one who gives me ghusl. In Shariah, husband and wife are allowed to give ghusl to one another. And she said, you will be the one taking care of my kafan and my burial. And only another request is that those people that I don't want to be part of my janazah, you're not going to inform them. Just imagine the pain she must have gone through, that she had to make such wasiyah. And of course, fulfilling the wasiyah is a wajib. Taking care of the wasiyah is an obligation on the executor, the one who's responsible for executing the wasiyah. She makes this heart-wrenching wasiyah to Amir al-Mu'mineen. And of course, Imam is busy with all of the rituals. Well, he doesn't have the time yet because his mind is occupied with the wajibat that have to be taken care of. Put yourself in the shoes. That when someone in your family departs, it impacts you, but then of course you have to take care of the wajibat. Ali is the same way, he's taking care of all the wajibat, yet he's still showing emotions. And one of the emotions that you hear in the Masa'ib is that at the time of giving ghusl, right? At the time of giving ghusl, there was this loud shout from Amir al-Mu'mineen that was heard from people who were outside. And when Amir al-Mu'mineen came out, after having performed the ghusl, he said, "O Ali, we heard an unusual shout from you, which we have never heard in our lives before. Usually a cry of a person, someone who's weak, a cry from someone who's hurt and weak." And Amir al-Mu'mineen responded by saying that I saw the ribs of Sayyidah were broken. But that was not the reason that really made me cry. The real reason behind me crying was that she never informed me that her ribs were broken. You know, there are many things that even when the Sayyidah spoke on that khutbah that she gave, or when she went for her right, many things that you recall from it, one of the things that she felt that the worst that the people could have done to her, you want to take Fatima away? Sure. You don't want to give me my rights? Sure. She brought the same witnesses, those who witnessed in front of the Christians of Najran. Those witnesses were denied. Amir al-Mu'mineen provided all the proofs. Those proofs were denied. But the worst was that she felt that they did not even consider me to be on the religion of Islam. These were the words that are sucked in the books of Tariq. Inshallah, in this last majlis, I recited this ayat from Surah Hashr for you, number 7. I recited it last night as well, but did not get the chance to explore this ayat. This is an important ayat in the context of our aqidah, our fiqh, our jurisprudence, and even akhlaqiyat. Why? Because Prophet is a complete role model and picture of all of these things. When it comes to the behavior and the etiquettes and the kirdar, you take it from Rasulullah. And then you have these Aimma-e-Athar who are then your role models, that things which Prophet in his 23 years may not have had the chance to show. You see it through the 12 Imams that came after him. I said it in the Majlis the other day, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created 13 Ma'asumeen as role models for men. But only one lady, Ma'asuma, as a role model for women. That speaks volumes. Men needed 13 examples, while women needed only one example, and don't need to look any further beyond that. So this ayat is all encompassing in that regard. It says, وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ. Whatever Rasulullah gives you, take it. Meaning what? Not just take it. Believe in it. Accept it. It's an obligation upon you. You cannot turn away from it. If you go in the tafsir of it, there's a further explanation is mentioned. Meaning the obligation of the things that Rasulullah is leaving with you. وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. And similarly, the opposite of that. Whatever Rasulullah stops you from doing or said is not allowed, stay away from it. Simple enough. In other words, it's talking about wajibat and muharramat. In other words, it's talking about that which is halal and that which is haram upon you. And then right after that, when this ayat comes to conclusion, it says, وَاتَّقُوا. You will need taqwa to be able to exercise what Rasulullah has left for you, to practice it, and what Rasulullah has stopped you from doing, refrain from it. You'll need taqwa ilahi in order to fulfill that obligation. And then at the end, it's sort of like a threat that comes about. It says, if that is not the case, then what will happen? Indeed, the adab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is shadid. Inna Allah shadidul iqab. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's compensation and retribution is shadeed and severe in this regard. So meaning, you can easily derive when iqab is being mentioned, taqwa is being promoted, these things which Rasul is leaving are wajibat for you. These things from which Rasulullah refrained you, stopped you, are muharramat for you. And then we've already established the fact that Rasulullah is who? Rasulullah is someone for whom Quran says, as far as the nutq of Rasulullah is concerned, مَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ. He doesn't speak out of his own whims. Whatever he says is wahiy ilahi. So then you can't take the fact that Rasulullah said something on his own and he unnecessarily burdened us with that. No, whatever he said, Quran is saying what? We told him to say it. He doesn't utter anything on his own. Everything that he gave you is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when he says, وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ, in other words, وَمَا آتَاكُمُ اللَّهُ, whatever Allah has given you. When he says, وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ, meaning what Allah has stopped you from doing. In this context, which I just established for you, when Rasulullah is saying, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى, what is your duty? How should you take this command from Quran? Is it recommended? Is it mustahab? Or is it an obligation? Is it just a father, departing father, who's saying this as a goodwill and make sure that you show love to my family? Or no, if you look at it under the ayat number 7 of Surah Hashr, وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ, and مَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ, if you put those two ayat as the muqaddamah, and then read this ayat, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا, it brings wujub onto you, an obligation onto you. Now of course, when we have our dalail and proofs, you'll find dalail and proofs from the other side as well. Majority of the Sunni tafasir, majority. You know how to translate this ayat? قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا, Surah Shura, ayat number 23. قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. How did we translate it? We translate it as this: I do not ask anything in compensation except mawaddat and love for my family. The word qurba has appeared in Quran 15 times. 15, 1-5. This is one of those occasions. Here, in this occasion, they translated this qurba as those actions which bring you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. While in the other 14 occasions, they've translated the word qurba as the family members. وَآتِ ذَا الْقُرْبَ حَقَّهُ, give the family their haqq. The only difference is, majority of those places the word has come with dhal qurba or dhul qurba. Over here it says, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. There's no dha or dhu over here. Because there's no dha or dhu over here, what do? They said, this is not talking about the family of Rasulullah. This is plainly mentioning that those amal which will bring you what? Close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do those things. And so the meaning is completely. This is called tahrif in Quran. When the Shias are mentioned that they believe in tahrif in Quran, we don't believe in the textual tahrif of Quran. We don't believe that every single word that was revealed unto Rasulullah has been altered. We don't believe in that. We believe that Rasulullah left this book in this world and it is as is in front of us. The Quran that we have in our masajid are similar to the Quran that you'll find in Al-Qura and other places. There's no difference. But the tahrif that we believe in is the tahrif ma'anawi, the changing of the meaning. This here is a classical example of it. Why? If you look at وَمَا أَتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ, and if you look at مَا يَنْتَقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ, when that muqaddamah is established, whatever Rasulullah says, and when he's saying it about his family, right away it makes this thing to be wajib. But let's go ahead and change the meaning. So convenient. So convenient, let's go ahead and change the meaning, and we will not have to worry about Ahl-e-Bait. Well, all of the Shia tafasir and few of the Sunni tafasir do mention that the over here, Qurban refers to Fatima, Ali, Hassan, and Hussein, alayhimu salatu wassalam.
Allah.
They mention by name that these are the individuals that are referred to as Qirabadar, the family of Rasulullah. I wanted to talk quickly about the word Mubaddat that is used here. There's a difference between the word Mahabbat and Mubaddat. Unfortunately, we translate both of these words in English as love. Right? We don't have any other word appropriate. Any other word would also convey the same meaning of love. But there's a slight difference why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not use the word قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَحَبَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. He said, إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. There's a difference between mahabbat and mawaddat. Mahabbat is something which happens on its own, غير اختياري. While mawaddat is something which is done with ikhtiyar. You choose to love someone. Mahabbat usually happens when you see a beautiful place, a beautiful thing, a phase or a place or a thing associated with the materialistic things, you fall in love with that. Mahabbat happens to those things. While mawaddat is not to the materialistic things. Rather, mawaddat is to immaterial things. Mahabbat, as the time passes, starts to dwindle down and it starts to get slow. Gradually, sometimes, two people who love each other to death, they don't want to see each other anymore. Mahabbat is converted into nafrat for them. Well, mawaddat is different. As the time passes, what happens? Mawaddat increases. Mahabbat dies with death. Someone left you, mahabbat, your mahabbat is gone, and that's it. But mawaddat increases even after death. That is the reason we recite, we're the only firqa that recites talqeen, sitting on the qabr of the deceased, reminding them of the love and the muhabbat of Ahl-e-Bait. We sit on the grave. We name every single imam. And we remind the deceased that you have to show this mawaddat to them. Now, is this mawaddat only through your tongue? Or mawaddat has other expectations from you as well? You know, someone says, I love this country, and I love the laws of this country. But then the first one's breaking the laws. What are you going to say to this person? Did you not just say you love this country and you love the laws of this country? And then why is it that you are breaking these laws? So if you're breaking the laws, that means you really do not love this country. This love of yours is not up to par. Similarly, Allah did not use the word muhabbat, He used mawaddat, which is higher than muhabbat. If you claim to love the Ahl-e-Bait, then your amal and your actions should also speak for themselves that your muhabbat and your mawaddat is not just zabani jama'ash, it's not something which is just the utterance of your tongue, rather wholeheartedly you love and you have muhabbat of Ahl-e-Bait. Salawat dijiye. Muhammad wa alihi. Therefore you find these people are worthy of this mawaddat. Allah subhanahu subhanahu wa ta'ala made that to be incumbent upon us. قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا. Memorize this ayat if you haven't already done so. You know, Quran is the qasida of Ahl-e-Bait. You have Janab Sayyida may not be mentioned by name in Quran, but there's so many ayat that speak about her. One of them is this ayat of Mawaddat from Surah Shura. The other ayat that you famously know is 33 from Surah Ahzab. The other ayat that refers to Janab Sayyida and is the clearest of the misdaq is the ayat of Mubahala. وَمَنْ حَاجَّكَ فِيهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ فَقُلْ تَعَالُوا نَدْعُوا أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ وَأَنفُسَنَا وَأَنفُسَكُمْ. Whenever there's a need to send curse on the Kadhibeen, Rasulullah brought only his family along with him. You know, there's a mention, Astafi Alam, who was waiting the next day for this Mubahala to take place, he said if Muhammad is a false Nabi, he will come with his entourage, he will come with his army. But when he saw that Rasulullah walked along with who? With Imam Hassan holding his hand, Imam Hussein on his hands, Janab Sayyida behind him, and Amir al-Mu'mineen, Nafs Rasul behind him. He said, do not indulge in mubahala with these faces, the faces that I see. If they make dua for a mountain to move from its place, the mountain will move from its place. Don't indulge in mubahala with them, or you'll be destroyed. So Asqaf Azam understands the maqam of Janab Sayyida. And therefore, when we look at it, there's a comparison that is done, because the other ma'soom or ma'sooma woman that is mentioned in Quran, it is Janab Maryam Salamullah alayha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave her that maqam. And of course, the reason and the maqsad and the purpose behind her maqam is because she's the mother of Ruhullah, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. That's why Allah said, Maryam Aziz Nisbat bi Isa Aziz. Right? Maryam is Aziz because of this one nisbat that she has with Hazrat Isa. She's the mother of Hazrat Isa. Allah uses this tazmeen from some other shayar, but he uses it Maryam Aziz nisbat Isa Aziz. If Maryam is Aziz near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is due to the nisbat that she has with Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. As se nisbat Hazrat Zahra Aziz. But then he says, Hazrat Zahra, she is Aziz Tar. Why? Because of three nisbat that are given to her. What are the three nisbat? You can do the math. One is that she is the daughter of Khatmul Anbiya. Number two, she is the wife and the zawja of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And third, she is the mother of Sayyida Shabab Ahl Jannah, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, alayhi wa salatu wa salam. This poetry that Allama Iqbal composed, I just wanted to share the last two couplets of this shairi as well. He says towards the end, when he speaks about Hazrat Maryam, he said, Noor Chashma Rahmatan lil Alamin. She is the delight of the eyes of Rahmatan lil Alamin. And then on Imam Awwaleen wa Akhareen. Why? He's the Imam of the Awwaleen and he's the Imam of the Akhareen. And then the last two couplets you really put out of the way, and that's where you see the love that he had for Ahl-e-Bait. You know, in these Irfani Ash'ar that came from him when he says, Rishta-e Ayn Haq Zanjir Pas. What is the Rishta of Ayn Haq? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there's a connection that we have with the Ayn, the doctrine that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent upon us. Rishta-e Ayn Haq is what? Zanjir. It's become a zanjir, it's become a shackle of my feet. When you have shackles on your feet, you can't walk another step, you can't take another step. Right? That's why they keep the prisoners all shackled up. So they cannot run away. He said, Rishta-e zanjire pa, Rishta-e ayn haq zanjire past. This rishta that I have with the ayn haq and the doctrine that Allah has sent has become what? Zanjire pa. Has become a shackles for my feet. Paas e farmane Janab Mustafa. And not only just that, I also believe and I also have to make sure that I stand by the command of Rasulullah who brought the deen and the ayn. What is he trying to say? What is he trying to establish over here? He said two important things. He said the doctrine that Allah sent is keeping me from moving. I have to be very steadfast. Number two, it is also because what Rasulullah has brought. I cannot turn away and go against what Rasulullah has brought. This is why he did this muqaddamah for you. He said, Varna garde turbatish gardina me sajdaha par khaki upashina. Why aynaha? Why Mustafa has brought whatever that I have to stand by it? If that was not the case, I would have done the tawaf around the turbat of Fatima to Zahra. I would have done sajda on the khaq and would have thrown that khaq on top of myself. This is a shair really showing his imagination while keeping his deen and his maqam at the same time. Salawat bi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And when you see the words of Ma'asumin regarding Janab Sayyida, in Tafsir Al-Bayan, the riwayat from our 11th Imam, Imam Hasan Askari alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, Nahnu, we are Hujjatullah ala khalqih. We are the Hujjat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the khilqat. But Jaddatuna Fatima Hujjatullahi alayna. But our Jadda, our grandmother, Fatima Zahra, is Hujjat upon us. So therefore you understand this maqam, as I said yesterday as well. She is, if there was no other fadail and the manaqib of Janab Sayyida, it would have been enough to know that she is that rishta between Risala and Nubuwwat and Imamat. That connection between these two phenomena. As I said last night, I promised that I will inshallah touch upon some of the doubts that have been created in the recent past. In the recent times, some doubts have come about regarding Janab Sayyida. One of the doubts that you see is that famous hadith. The famous hadith where Rasulullah said, Fatimatu, you say it, Bad'atun minni. Fatima is part of me. Mere jigar ka tukra hai, right? She's part of me. When did Rasulullah say this? This is where the whole, controversy is created. The riwayat is found in Sahih Bukhari. Riwayat number 3110. Fatimatu bad'atun minni. But what is the context of this riwayat? This is where it gets scary. He mentions that this hadith was actually mentioned to dispraise Ali ibn Abi Talib. Why? Why would Rasulullah say this to, dispraise Amir al-Mu'mineen? He said because Ali showed an interest in marrying the daughter of Abu Jahl, Juwayriyah. And when he showed this interest, while in that time, polygamy was more common than it is today, it would not have been an issue. But Rasulullah, being the father of Fatima Zahra, he said, and he, na'udhu lashed out, saying, Fatima bad'atun minni. Oh Ali, if you want to marry someone else, know that Fatima is part of me. As long as you're married to her, you cannot marry someone else. Now there are a lot of flaws in it. I don't have time to go ahead and decipher all of the flaws that are part of it. But look at how this hadith is there, 3110, as I mentioned. It's there. So therefore, this hadith is mentioning to go ahead and dispraise Amir al-Mu'mineen because of the desire that Ali had to marry the daughter of Abu Jahl. Now there are many ishkalat in reference to how this is a fake hadith. The greatest book after Quran for them. Well, now they have also realized and understood, many of their scholars will tell you that no, that's not the case. Well, it is very authentic for us, but there are a lot of flaws in that book. Slowly and gradually, they are coming to that realization. No book could be Sahih. There's only one Sahih book, and that is Quran. Aside from that, nothing else is Sahih. If a human has written something, then there could be flaws in it. The only book that is flawless is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is our belief. That's why we never said any of our books were Sahih Sanad. Completely. All together. You never hear Sahih Usul al-Kafi. Have you ever heard of it? Sahih Man La Yahdur al-Faqih. Sahih Bihar al-Arwah. We don't associate Sahih with this. So what is the flaw over here? Well, this hadith is narrated by a person by the name Miswar ibn Makhrama, who said the daughter of Abu Jahl, while Amir al-Mu'mineen was married to Fatima Zahra, Prophet said this angrily, addressing Imam Ali, that if you want to marry the daughter of Abu Jahl, you must divorce my daughter. Standing up for his daughter. Where is Bad'atun Minni? Rasulullah is mentioning this for something else. So that you don't go ahead and hurt my daughter. You don't go ahead and harm my daughter, which you did after my wafat. That was the maqsad of this hadith. That whoever angered her, angered me. Whoever angered me, angered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever she's razi with, I am razi with them. That was the maqsad of this hadith. Now they twisted it, saying no, Ali ibn Abi Talib is the reason. Based on the testimony of scholars of Rijal, Ibn Hajar in his book says Misfar ibn Makhrama, who is the lead narrator of this hadith, was born in the 2nd year after Hijrah. So Rasulullah migrates to Medina. Janab Sayyidah gets married to Amir al-Mu'mineen. In the 3rd year after Hijrah, they have their first child, Imam Hassan. When is this man born? In the 2nd year after Hijrah. And he's the one who is the lead narrator of this hadith. Similarly, scholar of Ahl-Sunnah from Al-Hazar wrote in his book Fatima Zahra that the narration about the proposal of Ali to Juwayriya, daughter of Abu Jahl, was also in the 2nd year after Hijrah. So therefore, Miswar ibn Makhrama, who heard this, that Ali wants to marry, well, he's born in that very year. Number 2, the reason this hadith is fake. Juwayriya, daughter of Abu Jahl, was kafir until the 8th year after Hijrah. Right? Until the conquest of Makkah, they're all kafir. They haven't embraced Islam. Out of all the people, Amir al-Mu'mineen knows that he cannot marry a kafir. At one point, you continue to pound the fact that Abu Talib left this world in a state of kufr while he was married to a mu'minah. And here, out of all the people, the one who's Amir al-Mu'mineen, it wants to marry someone who's not even a mu'minah. She did not embrace Islam until the 8th year after Hijrah. How can you go ahead and say that? Imam Ali was proposing to go ahead and marry such an individual. Number 3, Juwayriya hadn't even moved to Medina during the lifetime of Rasulullah for these events to even ever take place. So Rasulullah did not even touch upon the fact. So again, you see that their own books are mentioning the fact that this is all but made up. There's no truth, none whatsoever. Another thing that you find as far as the doubts that are associated with Janab Sayyidah is the doubt that is created that she was not martyred. Taking away the events that took place which led to her Shahadat. We have many reports from our Imams, especially our 6th Imam, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi who said that she was Shaheeda. She was martyred. What is the difference? Wafat is natural death. Shahadat is not natural death. Shahadat is brought upon you. So there's another ridiculous doubt which is created by the Wahhabis. Is the Shahadat of Fatima. They said, no, it was added to the calendar just recently. It has always been what? Wafat of Fatima. It was not Shahadat. Well, the answer is simple to this one as well. That the word Wafat and the word Shahadat are used. Both of them are used. Sometimes the word Wafat is used, sometimes the word Shahadat is used. And we have many such things in the riwayat, for example, when Rasulullah referred to Hazrat Hamza, does anyone have doubt about the Shahadat of Hazrat Hamza? He's referred to as what? Sayyidush Shuhada. Before Imam Hussain, who's referred to Sayyidush Shuhada? Hazrat Hamza. Rasulullah said the following regarding Hazrat Hamza, that Ama Anna, that he refers to him as the one who received wafat in the Battle of Uhud. So when Rasulullah used the word wafat, does he mean that he died naturally? No, we all know Hazrat Hamza was martyred. He was the first of the martyrs, and not just only a martyr, but he was Sayyidush Shuhada. So the word wafat has a broader meaning, which includes those who died naturally and even those who were martyred. And Rasulullah used this word for many individuals. Even he used it for Hazrat Ja'far Tayyar, who lost his both arms in the Battle of Mawta. And Rasulullah was alive at that time. When he heard about it, he was really saddened by it, by the wafat of Ja'far. So you use the word wafat for him. It does not matter, even though Hazrat Ja'far Tayyar was martyred in the Battle of Mawta. So all of these are proves the fact that no, Janab Sayyida was also Shahida. If the word wafat is used for her, it does not contradict the fact that she did not die naturally. Third doubt, quickly, that why the whole thing regarding the house of Janab Sayyida, that the house and the door was brought down. Usually, in our basic culture as well, when someone knocks on the door, you don't send the women of the house to go ahead and open the door. So why is it that? Of course, Amir al-Mu'mineen is not from the basic culture. Why is Amir al-Mu'mineen sending Fatima to Zahra to go ahead and open the door? Why didn't he go himself and answer whoever was standing behind the door? So this is again a doubt that is created. Answer to this is, in their own Tarikh, Ibn Asakir, he writes that Prophet was home when someone knocked on the door. He said, Ya Salma, Umi faftahi lahu. Oh Salma, can you go ahead and open the door? So Rasulullah, in his lifetime, when someone knocked on the door, he sent who? His wife, Salma. Or another place, Umar ibn Khattab came, knocked on Prophet's door when he was home. He told Hazrat Khadija, Ya Khadija, iftahi al-bab. He sent Hazrat Khadija. So the fact that Rasulullah is sending, are these scholars more ba'izzat and have more zealous zeal than Rasulullah? That Rasulullah is sending Salma and Khadija to open the door? No. This is not a doubt which should ever be given any consideration. But this doubt was actually created for another reason. This doubt was actually created to go ahead and show the fact that there weren't any doors back then. There was no door brought down. Door was not knocked down. There was no fire brought to the door. This all is made up. There's no real authentic narrations regarding this. Why? Back in that time, there didn't used to be any doors in the houses in the city of Medina. Doors were not created at that time. So therefore, there was no door whatsoever. Now, when you mention it like this, then what happens? The whole narration of them being inside their house, and then the people of Khalifatul Awwal coming and asking, come outside, or else we'll burn the house down, or we'll break the door down. All this just goes away. So here we see what is the response to this doubt, as to there weren't any doors. So the houses in Medina in those days didn't have any doors. Back in those days, houses, they used to have these hasir, thing made of, jiske hum chatai banate hain, right? Java and whatnot. They used to jute, they used to make it from jute, and that's what used to cover the doors of the houses. They didn't have these wooden doors back then. So if something is made of hasir, then it's not really a door. You can just push it aside and you can walk inside of it. When this doubt was mentioned, right away, there are many examples and understandings of it. I've run out of my time, so quickly recap. First and the most obvious answer is the Quran itself. You look at the ayat of Quran, Surah Nur 61, وَلَا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَن تَأْكُلُوا مِن بُيُوتِكُمْ أَوْ بُيُوتِ آبَائِكُمْ. This is a very extraordinary ayat. It says it is okay for you to eat from these houses. What houses? Allah counts these houses. So from now on, you can eat in any one of these houses. Your own house or the house of your parents. So you go to your house of your parents, you can eat over there. You don't even need to get permission from them. Or buyut ummahatikum, houses of your mothers. Or buyut ikhwanikum, your brother's house. Buyut akhawatikum, your sister's houses. Or buyut amamikum, your uncle's houses. Wa buyut ammatikum, your aunt's houses. Or buyut akhwalikum, your maternal uncle's houses. Or buyut khalatikum, your maternal aunt's houses. أَوْ مَا مَلَكْتُمْ مَفَاتِحَهُ. This is the point. So I gave you all the houses in which you can go ahead and eat. So from now on, if someone recites this ayat number 61 of Surah Nur, you go to their house and say, well, the Quran says I can eat from your house. You can't stop them from eating. But the last part is what the really Shahid Misal is. It says what? It says, أَوْ مَا مَلَكْتُمْ مَفَاتِحَهُ. And the houses whose keys you possess. So back then, the houses in Medina did not have any doors. What? You're putting the keys into this jute and hasir, the parda and the veil. Quran is saying, could anything be before Quran? Quran had already started coming down. The ayat were there. So therefore, this is something which is nothing but a made up, bogus claim that there was no house for it to be brought down. Bukhari in other places narrates and questions whether the door in the house of al-Mu'mineen, was it a double door? Was it a single door? The answer was no, it was a one-sided door made of teak wood. To that extent. So again you see that this doubt is nothing but to go ahead and create a fitna that yes, all the narrations regarding the house of Janab Sayyidah and the door of Janab Sayyidah being brought down and the fire being brought upon it is something which is bogus and does not exist. You can try whatever you want. You can try and hide as many facts as you want. Janab Zainab had said one thing in the Darbar. She said, Kid kaidak. Plan as you wish. Desire and plan whatever you want to do. Do whatever you want to do. La wallahi la tamhu dhikrana. One thing that you will never be able to get rid from the hearts of the people is our dhikr. Our dhikr will always remain in the hearts of the people. Why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intended it to be that way. And when there's irada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then whatever you try and whatever you plan, what does the ayah says? The ayah says that you plan and Allah plans. Wallahu khairul makirin. And Allah is the best of the planners. Brothers and sisters, I've taken too much of your time. Just a quick recap. That ayah that I recited from Surah Hashr, ayat number 7. Whatever Rasul gives you, take it. Whatever Rasul stops you from, leave it. And then the ayat number 23 from Surah Shura, which says, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Under those two ayat, this mawaddat fil qurba is a wajib, something which is not a recommendation of a leaving father. The word qurba should not be translated by anything else except Janab Sayyidah, Amir al-Mu'mineen and Hasanain Kariman who were mawjood in the house at that time. And with that said, the beginning part that I shared with you, the Masa'ib of Amir al-Mu'mineen, that how Ali felt as he was busy with the last rituals and taking care of the last final rituals of Janab Sayyidah. As Ali received these wasiyat from Janab Sayyidah herself, he comes home and Asma tells Ali that Sayyidah is not responding. Ali comes, sits next to Janab Sayyidah, and then he speaks to her and he tells her, "Oh Sayyidah, Ali is here. Why is it that you're not responding to Ali?" And as soon as Janab Sayyida hears this, she responds and she wakes up. She wakes up and she says, فَقَالَ لَهَا. She says to Amir al-Mu'mineen that, oh Ali, I'm leaving, but Ali, let me ask you one thing. يَا ابْنَ عَمِّي مَا أَهِدْتَنِي كَاذِبَةً وَلَا خَائِنَةً. Oh Ali, tell me this, that have I ever done khiyanat to you? Have I ever lied to you? Have I ever disappointed you? Amir al-Mu'mineen, upon hearing these words, he says, oh Sayyida, these words are not worthy of your maqam. Not only that you have never done any one of these things, but you are above and beyond all of this. And then she reassures and gives all of those wasaya which I mentioned in the beginning. And then slowly and gradually Janab Sayyida leaves this world. As she departs this world, Amir al-Mu'mineen performs all the final rituals. Once Ali was done and he had put the kafan on Janab Sayyida, Janab Sayyida leaves this world. Amir al-Mu'mineen calls Imam Hassan, Ya Hassan, Ya Hussein, Ya Zainab, Ya Kulthum, Halummu tazabbadu. Come, bid farewell to your mother who's departing. You heard this riwayat many times. The children came close, and as they came close, Hassan and Hussein came to the chest of Janab Sayyida. Daughters remain by the feet of Janab Sayyida, and they're all weeping, and they're all shedding tears, and they're all crying. And when they were crying, holding on to the kafan of Janab Sayyida, Ali hears this nida that, oh Ali, remove the children from the body of Fatima. There's a kohram that is happening amongst the angels. Ajrukum Allah, may Allah give you no grief, no sorrow except the grief of Ahl-e-Bait. How difficult it must have been. Janab Sayyida's wasiyat was that not everybody was allowed to come. Therefore the children cannot weep openly. Zainab and Kulthum, who are merely 5 or 6 years old, when they are weeping, they'll take their libas and they'll bite on it. So their sada of crying does not go outside the house. They don't want anyone understanding that Sayyida has departed this world. Why she made a wasiyat? Oh Ali, take out my janaza in the darkness of the night. This is the only daughter of Rasulullah, Sayyidatun Nisa'il Alameen, the daughter of Khatamul Mursaleen. You just saw a few days ago, a few weeks ago, when the wife of the Marja of the time passed away, how big a crowd was gathered in the Haram of Amir al-Mu'mineen to bid farewell to the wife of the Marja of the time. This is the wife of Amir al-Mu'mineen, yet there are only a handful of people. Ajrukum Allah, may Allah give you no grief. Ali holds the janaza from the front, Hassan from behind, Miqdad is there, Salman is there, Abu Zar is there, Zubair is there, only handful of Banu Hashim are there, as they take the janaza of Sayyida. मुश्किल इतनी है, मुसीबत इतनी है कि अली कहीं दफना भी नहीं सकते, जहाँ चाहे वहाँ दफना दे नहीं. अली ने 7 कब्रें खोली. Riwayat mentioned that he dug 7 graves, not just one. 7 कब्रें खोली ताकि किसी को पता न चले सैयदा इनमें से किस कब्र में है. अभी जनाजा उठेगा, ख़वातीन में उठेगा, इसलिए कि जनाब सैयदा का एहतराम है. सैयदा ने खुद भी यही चाहा था, रात के अंधेरे में जनाजा उठे, darkness of the night, so that nobody can look at my body, nobody can look at my janaza. इसीलिए सिर्फ ख़वातीन में जनाजा जाएगा. लेकिन जब अली ने सैयदा को दफना दिया, अब जब सोचा होगा, अरे अब सैयदा न रही, एक दफा किया, गुफ्तगू की रसूलुल्लाह से, या रसूल अल्लाह, लक़द उस्तुरजिअतिल वदिया, ऐ रसूल, आपकी वदीअत, आपकी अमानत लौटा दी गई। सतुनब्बिउका, वो आपको खुद बताएगी, बितज़ाफुर जो उसके ऊपर गुजरी। रसूल, the way you had given Fatima to me, I did not return her the same way. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Allah, please accept our acknowledgement tonight. Allah, give us the tawfiq and ability to follow the command and the teaching of Ahl-e-Bait ﷺ. Allah, give us and our sisters the tawfiq to follow the footsteps of Janab Fatima Zahra sallallahu alayha. Allah, bestow the ability to observe the practices and the hijab and everything else of Janab Sayyida to our sisters. Allah, hasten the reappearance of our awaited Imam and make us amongst the helpers and the soldiers of Rizwan. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.